Back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Wednesday, April 11th, 2018. Let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. If you were one of those people who thought having 4 Olympia titles in the bank was going to be enough to slow down Juliana Malacarne, allow me to be the first to tell you that you were wrong. Bright and early yesterday morning, the champ was spotted hammering out a good-looking set of deficit deadlifts as she officially begins to unwind phase 2 of her title defense prep. Even with all the noise and craziness that's been swirling around the division this year, at the end of the day, let's not forget who's been the one who's been weathering the storm at the top of the division for these last 4 seasons. And if you don't think that Malacarne isn't motivated by some of the chatter floating around out there, just wait and see how she attacks the stage when the Olympia rolls around in September. Sometimes you can see an athlete close out a season and you just know that they're on pace to come out and do something special the following year. And after his 3rd place finish at last year's Ferrigno Legacy Classic, rising men's physique standout Yi Peng seems to fit that bill. Late last week, we saw Peng start to float out a few really impressive new progress photos as he and his team try to figure out where they're going to make their first appearance of the season. Word on the street is that Peng spent his entire offseason leveling off some of his weak points. So if he can come out and build on that foundation he laid last year, I'd expect to see him push a few big names to their limit at some point over the next few weeks. There's a pretty short list of athletes who've been able to swing an Arnold Classic and Olympia victory all in the same calendar year. But this season, William Bonac is hoping to be the next member of bodybuilding's most exclusive club. Over the weekend, the reigning and defending 2018 Arnold Classic champ had a few behind-the-scenes photos leaked from someone inside his camp, which showed the number 3 ranked athlete on the planet looking as scary as ever. What this guy's been able to do over the last 18 months is one of the most impressive runs you ever hope to see as a fan. The only thing left for him to do now is etch out a new place in history with what would be one of the most historic Olympia upsets of all time. One of the hardest things to do in sports is to bounce back from a 2nd place finish when you've poured your entire heart and soul into a contest. But 2 weeks into the month of April, I'd say that women's physique star Jen Taylor seems to be bouncing back just fine. Recently, some new training footage began to circulate of last year's Olympia runner-up, who's actually about to kick things up into high gear according to reports. The Jen Taylor we saw take last year's Olympia stage was about as close to flawless as you can get. But if she can dig down deep enough to take that look 1 or 2 steps further, who's to say that it won't be enough to move her up into the rarefied air of Olympia champion. Confidence is one of the things that separates the haves from the have-nots in sports and in bodybuilding. But something tells me that confidence isn't an issue right now for budding 2nd-year bikini star Kacy Clark. 2 weeks after putting together a lights-out 2nd place effort at the Indy Pro, Clark and her team already look like they're firing up the engines once again. The strides that she's made since she turned pro at the 2016 Nationals have been almost unbelievable. But with a couple more small adjustments, she might be good enough right now to rip off a win or 2 as the season roars along. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.